Twitter, and you can complete the quizzes and earn Digibyte. So it's a really good tool. It's called digiscope.me. Also, there's a Digibyte wallet at dgbwallet.app, which you could type into your web browser and set up a wallet using a private key, which means no one knows your private key but you. Also want to talk about DigiTunes, which is dgbtunes.com, which is a website that lets you listen to songs all about Digibyte. So if you're interested in staying motivated about Digibyte, those songs, Digiscope, and the Digi app, that wallet app, is something that you want to key into. I wouldn't store a whole bunch of Digibyte on it, but just use it as an easy tool to show people how Digibyte works and functions. I think when we talk about holding Digibyte back, I don't think we are holding Digibyte back. I don't think we as a community are doing anything other than promoting Digibyte, spreading awareness, and creating educational content to help bridge the gap between the unknown and the known about Digibyte, and introduce people to Digibyte that may never have thought of investing in this project. So a little history on me is I've been in the Digibyte space since 2017. I joined the Digibyte community. I joined the Digibyte Africa Awareness Initiative. Well, I created the Digibyte Africa Awareness Initiative, and I joined the Digibyte Awareness team. I've been a part of Digibyte for a long time. I'm very passionate about Digibyte beyond speculation. Like, all the speculation on Digibyte, I don't really participate in that. But there's a really key thing that we need to understand, that Digibyte is the ticket to change so much in the world. And if we educate people on what Digibyte can do, the possibilities with Digibyte, show people what the world looks like when Digibyte is in full effect, I think that's how we get people to understand that Digibyte is a tool to be reckoned with. I also think that it's time that we not be afraid to start opening our mouths and telling people about blockchain technology in general. You don't have to convince somebody about Digibyte, but just explain to average folk about what blockchain is and what blockchain was designed to do. Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonym behind Bitcoin, started in 2009. The white paper came out, and the Genesis block was commenced. And in that Genesis block, it talked about banks on the brink of failure, another bailout, right? And so Bitcoin was created to change how we look at the financial landscape for the individual, right? And so with this whole idea was to create a space where people would have autonomy with their money and be free to use their money at will and not be sanctioned or, what's the word? I just sanctioned, but, what's the word? Can't get the word out. But the word is basically not being controlled with your money. It's important that we are able to use our money freely. And the power behind Digibyte is it's just like money. It's cheap to transact with, which simply, if you use cash, you're not paying any transaction fees. And you have total ownership. So there's no third party involved in your transactions or in your wallet. So there's no monthly maintenance fee. There's nothing that's going to prevent you from being able to hold your Digibyte forever. In fact, we created, as a community, we supported and we're developing a platform called the DigiDollar. And that platform is designed to allow you to keep your Digibyte forever. meaning that instead of selling your Digibyte, you can just borrow against it, which means that 17 million Digibyte that slipped through my hands that I gave away, I could have borrowed from it and gave out DigiDollars. So we're living in a different paradigm, and Digibyte is this idea to change how we think about finances. And until we get the world thinking about an alternative way of finances, we're going to struggle with real world use. And until we can break down the barrier of education, which I've learned the way to do that is to educate as many people as possible and have those people go out and educate more people. So what I've done is I created the Digibyte Africa Awareness Initiative, which has an active group of hundreds of people. And what we do is we meet once a week on Saturdays, and we discuss Digibyte every Saturday. And we talk about how we can change Africa with Digibyte by just simply educating people, not people in the crypto space, because the people in the crypto space, they're tainted. They don't really see the value in allowing other people to join this industry to see the value in what this is. They think crypto is just for them, when the reality is crypto is for everybody. And so just like Bitcoin gained notoriety, we can gain notoriety as well by building our own community of people, not necessarily crypto enthusiasts, but regular people who truly understand value. There's a lot of people who love gold, silver, and different precious metals, and they like buying stock, and very, very important stock that will hold value. So if we can explain to people that this is just another alternative asset that people can feel comfortable with, I think that's how we break the barrier. I think the barrier is showing people what this does. Because if you look at the Bitcoin pizza, right? I think it was 17 Bitcoin spent on pizza in the 2010s. And I'm not sure exactly which date, but right now that 17 Bitcoin can buy pizza for a whole city for a couple years. So what I'm saying is it's important that we show people the possibilities, but not let them be focused on the speculation. Because if you get involved with an investment, you should truly believe in the investment. You should truly hold on to the investment with all of your vigor and all of your knowledge, and make sure that you understand what you have. Because if you understand what you have, you won't let it go so quickly. I think the way we help people is by just educating and finding unique ways to get people to learn about this technology. I don't know if you guys see it, but I posted a video under this, a YouTube video under this space that explains how to buy Digibyte in Africa with Bybit. So we have a video to teach people how to go into Bybit and buy Digibyte. And you can share that video with any of your friends and family to explain to them that this is a real asset. You know, this is not some speculation. This is true money. It's hard money. It's real deal. In fact, it's been sanctioned all over the world, from Kenya to El Salvador, even in the United States, as a viable option for saving for the future. In fact, Donald Trump signed an executive order for the purposes of creating a strategic reserve for Bitcoin and several other cryptocurrencies, all around blockchain technology. We even had the state of Arizona create a bill which is still pending in their Congress, their state legislator, that is focused on creating a strategic reserve for the purpose of saving states' dollars that are spent that would have normally been spent other ways, especially when it comes to money when people die. You know what I mean? When people die and their bank account is left, the state absorbs that money. So what they're trying to do now is, instead of just buying stock and different assets. They want to focus on crypto and really valuable crypto that has the potential to grow in value over the years to come. And, here's some features about Digibyte. I just like to tell people a couple features about Digibyte so that they understand why Digibyte is such a power to be reckoned with. When you talk about scalability, we're talking about the ability to process transactions at a time. How many transactions can be processed in a second? And then with Digibyte, we can handle up to 1066 transactions per second, while Bitcoin can handle about 7. We're also the only blockchain with a technology called multi-shield. We pioneered it, and other blockchains implemented it. For an example, what happened was, I lost my train of thought. Digibyte, somebody just sent me a message and I lost my train of thought.
You started talking about DigiShield.
Yeah, DigiShield. Yeah. DigiShield is this technology. It's an antivirus type technology. It prevents people from overmining the cryptocurrency or causing the network to stall. And so we have DigiShield, which we use multi-shield, but we also have something called 5 cryptographic algorithms. And these algorithms are the same algorithms that secure nuclear weapons all over the world. And unlike Bitcoin with one security feature, we have 5. We have 5 different security features in Digibyte, which makes you feel extremely comfortable with storing your money in this blockchain, because this blockchain is probably the most secure blockchain in the industry. Arguably, probably the most secure. And last but not least, Digibyte is affordable. Not only in the price range for the average person to be able to accumulate tokens, the transaction fees are so negligible that you're paying fractions of a penny for a transaction, while Bitcoin will charge you astronomically to send a transaction, especially when the network is really in high demand. And so I've seen people pay $50 to send just $16 worth of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is just not that individual focused cryptocurrency. Digibyte is, because we want to have people transacting fastly, securely, scalably, and then last but not least, using a real deal crypto. Digibyte is a UTXO proof of work model blockchain, and that is what Bitcoin is. And Bitcoin is where the value is. So it's important that we understand that the value is in what Bitcoin is. And so what we did was we took the same technology as Bitcoin, but made it better. And so how do we get the world to see the improvements in the Bitcoin protocol through Digibyte? This is what this space is about. This space is about how do we get people to see that Digibyte is a viable choice in blockchain. When you think of cell phones, you got Samsung, you got iPhone or Apple, and you got LG, Nokia. I could name so many phone companies, TV companies. We can talk about Samsung again. We could talk about Roku, which is a popular brand in the United States for TVs. There's always going to be multiple brands doing the same thing. And the unique thing about it is it's no need for a monopoly in the crypto space. And that's what they're preaching. They're preaching a monopoly in Bitcoin. But it's no reason for a monopoly. It's no reason for a monopoly when there are viable options out there to be able to use as the individual, right? Bitcoin is just not individually centered. When we talk about the transaction fees, the speed, and the ability to feel comfortable with security, all of that stuff is out the window with Bitcoin. And so what the individual gets with Digibyte is this robust chain that's focused on making sure that the individual is prized, that the individual has autonomy, that the individual has a product that they can use that is huge for them, not just some mere token that someone created and said, hey, this is the best next thing. No, we've been doing this since 2014. This coin is 12 years old, which means that this community has been completely focused on making sure that the blockchain is the best blockchain out there. Like we have not focused on building our community. We have focused on building our product. And so with that focus, we've been able to do some amazing things, like the DigiShield, like being one of the first coins to add Sedgwick, which is the situated witness. You know, we've been pioneering things in this industry, and we don't really look for anything for it, but other than to see this industry thrive. And that's why we have people like Jose, who is on the UTXO Alliance, and you have people like Adam, who sits and preach Digibyte all day. You got Rensel, Fly Garrick, who made a magazine. You got Digibyte Party Team. And then you got many members in here from the Digibyte of Africa Awareness Initiative. So we're very prominent people in this industry. We just have not gotten our vindication yet. And one day we will be looked at as the pioneers, the ones that protected the blockchain that was for the people. And that's why, you know, I look back and, you know, I didn't lose a lot of money with Digibyte, but I spent a lot of my money promoting Digibyte. And I'm on a prayer and a realm that Digibyte does blow up one day, but I don't have a huge ton of it anymore. I really took the oath to spread this awareness, and I lost my position. But I want Digibyte to blow up tomorrow. It's not about me. It's really about giving the world a tool that changes the future for our generations to come, right? And that's more important to me, that people have something to believe in. And that's why Jared Tate, when he released the blockchain on January 10th, 2014, to the wild, he played the song Something to Believe in. And if you haven't heard that song yet, please check out the video. You'll see why Jared Tate made this. And he doesn't really talk about his political opinions on why he created this so much. But what he does talk about is how this technology can change industries. But we all know that Digibyte blockchain was created for the individual's freedom, the individual's autonomy. And what that means is different for everybody. No matter where you live, you have something to believe in now, because 1.2 million people at least have stood up against their governments and said, hey, look, we're tired of your monetary system. We're going to create our own, and it's going to be based on nothing else of being human, not a corporation, not a company, not a conglomerate, but for an individual. And this monetary system will focus on making sure the individual has its power. And that's why I love this community, because when we become wealthy, I see so many amazing things happening in the world, so many great things happening, because we truly care about human nature. We truly believe that the future is going to be brighter because of Digibyte. And I'm not going to talk you guys to death because I want to open the table up. So please come up and talk with us. But what are some other things you think we need to do as a community? What is realistic? Like, we don't have a lot of money, right? We don't have a lot of resources, but we have been using AI. AI has helped us greatly. You know, when you think of the Digi app, the Digibyte DGBWallet.app, when you think of Digiscope.me, when you think of DigiDollar, DigiSwarm, a lot of these things have been propelled and pushed forward because of AI. And the reason why I love Digibyte is because we're always forward thinking. Jared Tate did not run from AI. He actually, as soon as he seen it, he was like, I can use this. And that's the beauty behind Digibyte, is that we believe in using what's going to be great for us. and not being afraid of change and being forward thinking to understand that the future for us is bright. As long as we stick to our product, making sure that it's robust, making sure that it works, making sure it's dependable is all that matters. And everything else I think will fall into place because Digibyte is here forever. I really truly believe that Digibyte is not going anywhere. The last Digibyte will be created in 2035, which means that we have less than a decade to see all of our coins in circulation. What does that mean? There's some challenges that come with that, but it means that we're the first chain, a real UTXO proof of work, to have its full supply in circulation. And unlike Litecoin, which is, I believe, in like 2080, and Bitcoin, which is in 21 something. So those coins on those networks will keep being mined. So Digibyte as a community, we need to focus on some of the problems that we might face on top of how do we get real world use. So what I think is, this is just my opinion, that education is the tool. Education is the tool. Education is breaking it down in layman's terms so that average people have the ability to learn this stuff. Because it's not technical. It's technical in the sense that it's automated intelligence, but it's not that difficult to understand. And I know the biggest thing I teach people is private key, never share it. As long as you teach someone that you never share your private key, they will have their cryptocurrency forever. But again, I've taught hundreds, probably thousands of people about Digibyte. And most people, once it clicks for them, they're like, oh my God, I'm in this. This is real. This is a real opportunity. It truly is a real opportunity. And it's time that we pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps and continue to educate everybody about it. Don't be afraid to have a conversation openly about what blockchain technology is and what it can really do for the human being. So what do you guys think? What do you think is the key to education? Like, how do we get Digibyte broke down to average people? Because we shouldn't be focused just on the crypto industry. We should be focused on getting new bodies in the seats, new people who truly would believe in this stuff if they truly understood what it was. And I was put on a challenge to do that, and I was able to do that in Nigeria. Now, did I convince the whole Nigeria? No. But I did convince at least 1,000 people to see value in Digibyte. So it's possible to help average people see value. It's just that we need to educate them on what that value means. And it's hard because you don't want to talk about the value all the time because you don't want people in the industry simply because they're waiting for the price to go up. You want people in it to see what it looks like when it becomes usable in the real world. So I think the story is, how do we tell the story of how Digibyte looks when it's in full use case? I think it looks like a world that's unbanked, that's no longer unbanked. It looks like a world where maybe wealth will shift from some old hands to some new hands, and so I think, how do we tell that story, that narrative, so people can dive in and say, hey, I like this idea. This idea is not about anything other than the individual. And I think if we focus on that, because corporations are winning, like they're so rich and they're so powerful. And it's so evident that that power has suppressed Digibyte. In fact, I believe Digibyte has a lawsuit case. It has a case for all of these conglomerates that have been suppressing its value. It's really hurt the Digibyte community. It's really hurt our psychology. It's really hurt our pockets. To be involved with a project that's so vindicating and so powerful, but it not be given its just due, it's a crime. And I pray that one day when Digibyte does get its vindication, that we seek reparations for how we were treated. Because this community has been around and has been in the hundreds of thousands for years. I've been here. I've seen people come and go and people leave, even though they believe in Digibyte, but because of all the pressure around Digibyte and all of the suppression around Digibyte, people leave. I've seen it happen, and it's damaging us because we're truly a great product. We're great. Everything about us is stellar. It's just that we are not given our voice. And so I think this conversation should be about how do we get our voice, even amongst suppression, even amongst adversity. How do we get our voice to educate people on the why, the how, and all the things that make Digibyte perfect without making it so complicated? And I don't know the perfect answer to that, but what I do know is I've been doing it. I've been breaking down the barriers, and average folk that I know, if you know me, you know Digibyte. And I don't know if that's the same story for every Digibyte holder, but if you know me, you know I'm involved with Digibyte. Family, friend, foe, whoever it is, they know I'm involved with Digibyte. And so I feel like everybody should mirror that, and be as passionate about Digibyte as you should be, because there's no reason not to believe in this stuff. All because corporations have suppressed it doesn't mean that the value isn't there. It's there. It's the same technology as Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is $60-some thousand, $70,000, why isn't we comparable? Like, come on, like the market capitalizations of our product are so vastly different that it's crazy. It's crazy that we're doing exactly what Bitcoin does, but because Bitcoin was the first one, they have all the money so that they get control everything. And then it's so disheartening to see these exchanges talk to us like we're dumb. Like the responses they give us are so blanket and so emotionless. It's like, but Digibyte is here for the people, right? That's all you want to say to them. It's like, the people is why Digibyte was created. It wasn't created to make a rich man rich. It was created to diffuse all that. And just my opinion, I think a lot of corporations that don't want to list Digibyte don't want to be the reason why the world changed. Because it will change. If we got listed on a prominent exchange and people started using Digibyte, it's over. It's over for fiat. And I think that's what they're afraid of. But, at the end of the day, what we have is a ticking time bomb. It's going to blow up some things. It's going to revolutionize some industries, and fiat, it's just going to be looked at so differently, because this is the first time in human history that we have a currency that will appreciate in value over time. We're so used to depreciating, inflating currencies. So we've never been able to save money, but now we can. It's a beautiful thing. So I guess the question I have for you guys, and Atlas, you can come in. What do you think is the barrier to educating average people? Like, what do you think the barriers are to getting average people involved with Digibyte? I think that's the true question we should ask each other. Not necessarily how we get crypto goers in, but how do we get mom and pop and their children's children involved? That is what we need to talk about. Because if we keep focusing on the current industry, we're going to keep being disappointed. We need to make our own movement. We need to get people who truly want to see opportunity and educate them on it. It's a lot of people who are away from crypto because they ruined the industry. They made it a scam pool. So no one wants to, and Jared Tate even said that when he goes into rooms now, everybody look at him so different because people look at crypto as a scam. And it's sad that Digibyte has been around not scamming people, but we get the label. So how do we break that barrier to get the average person to say, hey, let me take a look at this? Do we do it through like some type of, I don't know, how do we do it? Go ahead, Alice.
Okay, from my own perspective, I don't think that these has one answer. But in the real world, it's not like since I've been in Digibyte, I noticed something like the community are like strictly like I can't even explain to be honest. Like you know, then I came in, I wanted to build something like I wanted to build like a simple wallet. Imagine Digibyte doesn't have a simple wallet like tipping wallet or wallet you can use and buy something. Okay, let me imagine I went to a market and a friend of mine is there, then I tip in Digibyte through the wallet or immediately send him to buy something and send it through the wallet. That wallet is very clean, not to buy, just only for a minute small amount to do transaction stuff. So I came to the Telegram channel. I went there. I made a post like this is the wallet I'm doing something. Like, everybody there like, but the founders wasn't like the developer wasn't there. So many people don't like, am I profiting from this? I was like, no, this is not a profit, this is not profitable business, this is not a business, this is for the adoption to help people grow. Everybody was like, I won't download it, it must be open source. Like, no, everybody was talking, like I was like, then I was like, what? I came back and said like, why am I even building this for people that don't even want it? Like, all these old like especially the old people in Digibyte, they'll be like, I won't use this. Why would I use this? Something like that. I won't use this. This is not, if it's not the core wallet, they won't use another thing. They won't use any other thing. Like, I was like, look at us. Like, is this and the encouragement that I giving to a young people that like somebody that want to, I'm not building this to get any gain. This wallet is built for tiny fees. Imagine adding one Digibyte in any transaction. That's not the aim. You're destroying the adoption. This wallet, the Digibyte doesn't even have fee, if I were asked. Don't have the wallet is clean, everything is good. They were like, they won't use the wallet. I came back, I said, why am I even building this to be honest? So I feel like, let me just stop. To be honest, I stopped for 1 week and say, let me move on because a friend of mine that know being more about crypto, he told me that when I was in Bitcoin, there's a lot of support there. Like people can tell me, hey, Alas, you're young, something like that, and maybe they can teach me Bitcoins, teach me sats, tell me that I should keep going, like I should do something. Then, but in Digibyte, nobody's there. They aren't rich. So why am I even caring there? I was like, something pushed me into Digibyte. I didn't just wake up one day and enter Digibyte space. Like, I want to do something there. I want to like part of the community, not just, I want to be a developer, a builder there. I don't want to be I don't want to be a random crypto or meme coins, all this stuff. I've been into meme coins as well. Like, I'm into meme coin space then, but not now. So I was like, something pushed me there. So if this word that these people say, like, if the comments that those people that if the comment that those people said on Telegram channel can make me stop building, I shouldn't be in crypto space to be honest. Then I
Zach,
was like, after thinking this way, I'll be like, let me now keep building. Then I
I
continue
had a
without.
horrible experience in it, and I'll let Keith speak, but I had a horrible experience in the Telegram group too. So, uh, ideas are not necessarily something you got to share all the time. But once you have the finished product, just promote it. Like I have so many Digibyte projects. I have Digibyte Tunes. I got DigiSwag Token. I have the DI community. I have a lot of things, and a lot of people in the larger community have not supported. But that's fine because at the end of the day, I'm doing it because I believe in Digibyte. I don't need any validation from anybody in this community. This is our community. If you hold the asset, you are a part of us. So don't worry about, someone saying something negative to you. Keep going. Because I remember one time I was on Reddit. Reddit can be very rude. where I would post on Reddit and they kept saying, you using AI. This is before AI was real popular. And I'm like, okay, even if I'm using AI, so what? It's a good post. Like I wasn't using AI, but it was a good post. So just be okay with the adversary or the adversity that you're going to face in Digibyte. This is a coin when you hold it. We used to have people, and I don't know if we still do, just spam our hashtag. Like if somebody go new on the hashtag posting it, they'll go and just say something really ridiculing to them and get them so disinterested in the Twitter space for Digibyte. So it's a lot of trolls and people who I believe are paid to suppress people from joining this community by by casting doubt, on Digibyte. And a lot of people fall for it. That's why you got to be strong-minded and do your own research. Go ahead, Key.
Hey, what's up, dude? It's just been a
Hey, how you
while.
doing?
I wanted to come say hi. It's been a while. I hope
Wow,
everything's going well.
good.
Yeah. If I was gonna give any advice at all, and I don't mean to be rude, I'm just blunt. So, who cares what blockchain? Nobody.
Mhm.
Find a problem and use Digibyte to solve that problem. One very specific problem. Ideally, a specific problem in a distribution channel that you have access to. A lot of technology and in a lot of businesses, distribution channels are controlled. So to get in the light and in environments that people already trust, the only way to succeed, especially at scale, is to get in those channels, and then even more so solve a real problem. Don't I don't think you should, whether it can do it or not, we shouldn't blanket anything like Digibyte solves everything or Digibyte does this or,
Right.
whatever. It should be Digibyte makes eggs at 9:30 a.m. every day and does a hell of a job, and you don't have to do it anymore. It needs to be that specific to get people hooked. Now, what that product is, I can't tell you, right? Like, so it depends on who you ask, prospectively. But I think that that's the best way to get people in, solve a real problem for them. And it just happens to be powered by Digibyte, right? Like it happens. It's not the thing thrown in their face, because if I say blockchain, anything to anyone, that means nothing to them. Unless you're psychotic like most of us and participating in the space and developing in the space for a long time, nobody cares. The sooner we realize that, the sooner you get to, well, how do I make you care? Well, I make you care by fixing something in your life. Typically like anything that buys back time, or solves a very specific problem. And that would just be my recommendation when trying to approach how do I get people to want to participate in this. Give them a reason to, something they can't refuse. A real pain point, like absolutely solved, undeniably. That's a good
Key,
path.
when we think about remittances, right? When we think about remittances, especially remittances all over the world. For an example, Africa, and Jose, I'll let you go after this. In Africa, over 150 billion is spent on remittances to Africa from people living in the diaspora. And right now they're paying between 6% on those remittance fees. You can reduce those remittance fees to less than a penny. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
there's a lot of
I also know, like, I can
certain
personally
countries
do
that
that right
increase its
now.
value.
Well, I can
But
personally do that right now with Stellar. They own a third of MoneyGram. MoneyGram is everywhere. Like there's chains that have decided this is where I'm going to live, right? And they picked it. And that's what Digibyte needs to do too. If you're great at one thing, just do that one thing and sell that one thing. Obviously, it can do more than that, but it's too much for people to process at one time. Like selling an everything system is extremely difficult on a bunch of levels, including training them how to use it. If people can't just hit a button and it's done, it's going to be a lot of work for them. Now, if you move into enterprise, there's a bit more teaching that's set aside for that. There's money and there's resources allocated to being able to train those individuals. So maybe if it's something labor intensive, you aim for a higher market specifically so those people digest the information because they have to. Like their company forces them to digest that information, which opens up the channel for them to explore more. Oh, like what can this do now? And like I'm comfortable with this. I want to do this now. It's what Microsoft did with like Word, Excel, etc. So yeah, that would be my point though, is that every blockchain has something that they focused on being really good at. They're not good at everything. So it's picking the right tool for the right thing. And I think Digibyte has that. It
I
just needs
feel
to be
like I feel you
packaged
on that.
smaller.
I feel you on that, but is that what Bitcoin's doing?
Bitcoin's a store of value. That's it.
You sure?
I'm positive. That's all it's being sold as. That's why it's an ETF. I don't know why you're feeding back.
No, I'm just saying, you sure? When people say store of value, I don't, it's like, how long will it store your value and how long do you have to wait for the value to return? Like, I think that's just a narrative people use.
How long does Big Red keep its flavor when you chew it? I mean, no one has the answer to that. We used to think gold was going to hold its value for eternity. Guess what? Not so much. New materials constantly emerge that have a better use case or are more efficient or whatever they are, and they take the place of other things, degrading the value of older materials we held on to. I think that software is the exact same. Things get better and better. It's why your TV that you have purchased today is already outdated in comparison to what's coming out tomorrow. So I think that personally, I wouldn't focus on what other chains are claiming that they're better at or whatever. If you think that you're better at something than that, then prove it. Don't talk about it. And if you're going to prove it, package it in a way that's digestible as well. It still comes down to being like, what's that one, where can I get that one thing that does this thing very well? No one buys everything systems. They solve problems. So solve one problem. But yeah, obviously people claim Bitcoin is a store of value, or at least in my view, that's how it's being projected anyway.
But I don't think that's the truth.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's the truth. It's the narrative people have ran with. You're late to the party. Please continue to the next product or prove it wrong. Those are your choices. Doesn't matter how you feel about it or if it's true or false or whatever. It's out there that way. That is how people are buying it. That's why ETFs exist. ETFs are now being rolled into pension funds. States are stockpiling Bitcoin. Countries are stockpiling Bitcoin. People are stockpiling Bitcoin. It would be a very ambiguous journey, I think, to try to prove otherwise. So pick something else
I don't think I
do it.
will attack any other coin or try to be better than any other coin. I think, like you said, the goal is to have a purpose, right?
Yeah.
And I think Digibyte has a purpose. It has so many purposes. And I think we are such a conglomerate in a sense that we have so many use cases that we can bite off and chew them, and we all can go into our different directions promoting them. And one of them for me is remittances in the African diaspora. That is one thing I want. And you said, well, you have Stellar and you have this, you have that. See, I'm not trying to say that there's other cryptos not doing what we do.
Mhm.
But what I'm trying to say is we can promote Digibyte as that alternative to solving a problem to those people. Because Stellar isn't solving that problem, because if they're teaming up with cash and remittance services, they're going to be charging astronomical fees, because those corporations are all about sucking fees.
I can do 10,000 transactions for 85 cents.
What you say?
I can do 10,000 transactions for 85 cents.
And that's on Stellar?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So like, but the point, it
Stellar,
doesn't matter
talk
what
about
other people are doing. You can still participate in the same realm, right? They're showing you how they did it. And you could do the same thing, which means that you would package up Digibyte into specifically focusing on that said problem, and then go partner with people that they ignored, made piss poor offers to, whatever it is, right? And you do the same exact thing.
But see, that's the thing. Partnerships in corporate rooms, we don't really have any entities to sit and do that, because it's an open source project that anybody can go to boardrooms and discuss.
Sure. So all that means is like community enforced open source projects are going to have slow growth until somebody who has leverage at a higher level adopts that open source and says, yeah, I want to be the spokesperson behind this and truly push this to the next level, or whatever it is. Other than that, you're hoping that someone stumbles across and says, wow, this is great. And that's it. Which is highly unlikely to happen, especially at the rate that information is just being created and poured out.
So Key, you think Digibyte's predicament or situation is because we haven't found a niche?
I would say that you would have more growth if you had a niche.
Right.
At least if you're trying to get into the public eye. And the public eye would be more like we can get into enterprises.
If we had a niche, I feel like there's big people who don't want Digibyte to succeed, and they're doing everything in their power to make it happen.
Probably.
But even if we had a niche, it would be suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
If we had one, we
Sure.
had plenty.
Well, then you should just quit, right? Like if you feel that way, then just stop. Okay. But if you don't, or you say, I don't give a shit, I will succeed. I'm going to do it. I will find the people I need to talk to. That's the attitude you need moving forward.
That's been the mantra for us for at least the last 12 years. Jared Tate has said, he sat at tables, the awareness team and many other organizations a part of the community have written to the prominent exchanges, Gemini, Kraken, Coinbase, and they've even come out to say that they recognized us.
Right.
They know we exist. So I just think we're in a tough cookie because, yeah, we need a niche, true. But even if we had a niche, will they let us flourish? I don't know.
I think the hard part is, even if you have a niche to actually flourish, you still have to acknowledge the environment that you participate in. And the environment we participate in already has regulations that they expect and rules. And to function in those areas, you have to do certain things. Yeah. So it's kind of the whole theory of like, you don't change the system from outside. You get inside of it to change it. because you need to be heard and taken serious.
Let me jump in here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go
I
ahead,
do
Jose.
think that. Thank you. Hello everyone.
Hey,
You
Jose.
guys have probably seen me. Hey Mike, what's up, man? It's been a while since we've talked, but
Yeah.
hey, good to hear your voice, and man, awesome that you're co-hosting with Alas. Thanks for the invite. Um, and just a little bit about me. I'm not like a developer. I don't have like coding experience.
You cut out Jose.
Baby, come back. Jose, where'd you go?
Darn
Definitely
it.
kick them out.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, yeah.
I'm actively right now putting blockchain in banking institutions.
Wow.
That is what I'm
Are
doing.
you putting blockchain or like when you say blockchain, is it decentralized blockchain?
What do you mean by decentralized?
A lot of corporations are afraid of decentralization, it seems.
Decentralization just means access.
Well, it's a lot deeper than that because it's
It's
also
not. They like to sell it. The marketing is sold it as deeper than that, but it still goes back to, AWS or it's somewhere where someone has their foot on the cord, and when they kick it out of the socket, it's going to fuck up your day. They all come back to that.
not Digibyte. Digibyte doesn't go back to any network. It's powered by nodes all over the
All
world.
blockchains are powered by nodes. The nodes reside on servers. The servers reside in places that have also power as an overhead cost and or a power company that dictates whether they can. They're connected to internet, and anything TCP/IP is also controlled at a higher level anyhow and can be blocked. So yeah, regardless, the concept is about access, but what we have as infrastructure and how it actually works, decentralization is marketing.
Hey, I'm back. Can you
I
guys
don't
hear me?
agree with that.
You don't have to agree, it's just fact.
I don't think that's fact. I think we worked hard in a decentralized way, and to make it seem like decentralization is just this quote unquote fairy tale, I don't think it's true.
Yeah, but I mean, it is absolutely true. You rely on power from other people. You rely on internet from separate companies. All of these companies are actually regulated by the government anyway, so they do whatever they're asked most of the time.
But there is a level
Have
of
you read the Clarity Act?
right. There's a level of decentralization that comes with Digibyte that even though there are centralized entities connected to that decentralization, it's still an individual behind that connection that's making it work. And
Sure,
those
even if it's an ASIC
are
miner
making it
that
work
you're mining
remotely.
Digibyte with, you still are subjected to internet and power alone. Then the code, wherever that's stored, even if you had your own server, you're still subject to power and internet
Break
alone.
down decentralization to a point that I don't think needs to be that explained. Like I understand that AWS, internet service providers, electric companies, all of that. We all know that that comes from central existences. But to plug your computer into Digibyte Network, it takes an individual to do that.
Anybody can do that.
What you say?
Anyone can do that on every single blockchain. That's called accessibility.
Not every single blockchain is ran by an open source node like that.
I
Not
can
every block
download the code for almost every blockchain I've worked for and spin up a node.
worked for. Like, first of all, you can't work for Digibyte.
I didn't say I worked for
No,
Digibyte. I said every blockchain I've ever
you're
worked
saying
for.
you worked for corporations that ran blockchains. Those are central entities.
Yeah, they're
And
foundations.
central. And just because
Groups
they're
of individuals who push things forward. Just because you didn't organize a business correctly to facilitate that doesn't mean you're not a central entity. You come together and you have conversations about how you want to push something forward, which is from a central
clouding the
group of
explanation of
individuals.
what decentralization is. for the purposes of what Digibyte is. And I
Who
think
distributes Digibyte?
the miners are connected to the nodes,
I
which
know how blockchain works. Who distributes Digibyte? If you get a grant, if you are going to build something and be rewarded, who distributes those funds?
there's no such thing. We're completely open source. There's no fund or central
So
source.
everyone just does it for free.
Yeah,
Right, which is going to be slow growth.
we know that. That's why we've
Yeah.
been around for years and we're not quitting.
But it doesn't change the fact that you still rely on centralized infrastructure.
We all do. Everybody do.
Of
If you
course we do, which dumbens decentralization to access.
I don't think it's necessarily just access.
That's just what it is. Blockchain has been sold as marketing to get people online for tracking. That's the easiest way to explain it, I'd say, to not get like extremely complex. If you want to I would recommend reading the Clarity Act as well. The government has now declared basically that, well, not basically, they've declared you're allowed to self-custodialize your crypto, but if you do, you'll be treated like a bank, which means now you're subject to AML reporting and account records and literally anything that they put a bank through the ringer for. So best of luck with that, which is going to force people into institutions to reduce 90% risk so that the
I'd
government
like to go
doesn't
back to
come and kick down your door
I'd
because they
like to go
just can.
back to what you were saying about niches.
Go ahead, Jose. You had broke up.
Okay. So I think you said it. Digibyte has multiple purposes, and so you could look at it kind of like different aspects of it. And if we look at, I don't think this has changed. Maybe the focus right at the moment has changed on, focusing on building the DigiDollar. But if you look at past, technical implementations, things that have been built on Digibyte, DigiID, DigiAssets, and stuff like that. That if we continue to look at this, the blockchain, from a multi-pronged approach, multifaceted approach, that what we're talking about right now is maybe focusing on self-custody and money. And if we look back at some of the older videos that Jared put out, he said, "Hey, I think that there's better use cases than just being money." And I think that's still true. And, of course, right now, like the DigiDollar is the focus. But, going back to niches and what do we solve, or what can we solve? And, if you look just here on X, the bot problem, DigiID, DigiAssets would make a perfect solution. There's an issue there though. I think, Modest Miner just mentioned that, the Clarity Act. So there's still things being ironed out with like crypto and stuff like that. So maybe not 2026, maybe 2027, we'll have better clarity on digital assets. The other thing too is, you look at X. X is a revenue generation platform. And that's what, I keep thinking, like, man, if these guys had something similar to what Renzo has built with like DigiNexum, where they take all these videos and images and all these things you can create with Grok and turn those into assets. And then, take it a step further, because we know it can be done on DigiNexum. You add, royalties. If somebody uses your image, that boom, you get paid for that. You get, a certain percentage. The platform gets paid, for transactions. It gets paid for whatever, and so I think there's real opportunity. And I want to kind of go back to like, the topic of the space, what's holding Digibyte back. So there, we're talking about a couple of niches there. We're talking about, problems that they solve. And when I look at these two problems, and, and this is just on X, but you can also compare that. Like I was looking at, TikTok yesterday, playing around with their AI, Taco, and they also have an image generation thing where you create something and you could post it right onto your feed or whatever. And it's like, how can we combine like something like DigiAssets and DigiID to do all these things that we know that it can. And so looking outside of X, what problems does this solve? And I think that it's it's good for the creators who are out there, creating assets or creating images and videos that they can now, claim that as theirs. They can, they made it, so it's, on the chain that they're the ones that made it. So now going back to like what's holding us back. And I've kind of like had different conversations with like the AI chatbots, and when we look at it, I think we lack documentation for implementation. We lack SDKs that, okay, here's how you just plug it in, and APIs and RPC, something that makes it simple for a new developer to come into the space and say, hey, okay, this is, how I do this. This is how I use this and build with this. And so when we're talking about what's holding us back, I think those are areas that we can improve on. In the Telegram, Alas had asked a similar question to the space topic, and I shared it below. Like, what are things that could help adoption? Well, I mean, I think that old web developers that haven't really transitioned to the Web3 space, new developers that are learning, all right, what is blockchain and all this stuff, and UX, UI that kind of abstracts away the complexity of things, that just makes it so simple. And, I've been playing around with these ideas and these conversations with Grok, and, man, if say, there was a Grok asset or a Grok NFT or some other type of, asset or NFT from a different platform, and you kind of just bundle everything up that Digibyte offers, right? To include the DigiDollar once it releases. Like, people can, then, and here's the $1 million, I think, answer. Like, this is how I think there's adoption. But you abstract away the complexity. So someone who knows nothing about blockchain, swipes their Visa, buys DigiDollar, uses DigiDollar to mint their asset on whatever platform, sells, trades back and forth, whatever, with DigiDollar. And like here on X, like, I think that, in DigiAssets or DigiAsset Core and DigiID being, open source, like, it's like the tools are there to solve some problems that the platform itself is facing. So I'll leave it there. I know it's probably a lot more complex than that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, like, I think I started to say, I'm not an engineer. I'm not, but I think X has probably the world's best engineers, and because they have money, and I'm sure they would figure this out.
I love those ideas. And I practice with ChatGPT all the time, asking it use cases for Digibyte. And it comes up with really good use cases. And I like the idea of people minting images that they generate and then getting a royalty from it when people use it. So I like that. But the thing is, you can always just make a new image, which is interesting. So, yeah, I just want to open the floor up to anybody in the audience. If you want to come up, feel free. This is a safe space to kind of talk about how you feel about Digibyte's real use cases, and how do we fix it. It's just a conversation. So feel free to come up and discuss, how you feel. Like I said, I'm not a developer. I don't know how to code to the blockchain, but I'm aware of how the blockchain works, and I've built several projects around Digibyte, from the meme coin DigiSwag to a Digibyte jukebox. So it's possible to build things with Digibyte today and not be a full out developer. So if you have the ideas, it's possible.
Mike, I want to add one thing. A while back, I'm getting feedback. A while back when we had the I'm not sure where I'm back the feedback from.
Can you mute your mic, Master?
Sure.
It's unfortunately feeding back through your.
So when we had the comic book, and this is like what things, and you asked earlier, like how do we educate people? So there's things and things that have been proven by Digibyte that most people still don't understand or probably don't know about. When we had the comic book, you needed to have that comic book in your wallet in order to access the content. So I consider it, and I've been calling it a gated asset. It's gated because, I think somebody had asked, well, can I just log in with DigiID? Like, no, you need to have the asset in your wallet. And so, there's a lot of people that right now were like, I don't know what he's talking about. I've never heard of that. Like, they don't know the concept or the idea. And I think, going back to like, things that you can do with Digibyte, the assets, or not the assets, but the tools that have already been implemented or created. And it really is, and like you were talking about earlier about educating. How do we educate? And so I think, yeah, like you were saying that you use AI to find these different use cases. As long as like the common person knows, like, you know what, you can actually do this. You can actually log into a site, using an asset as your credential. And that's one of the things that I've been pushing on, like here on X, and I'll tag Elon, and I'll tag Nikita, and I'm sure like nobody sees it, but people within the community, I'll get some likes here and there. But I think if we're talking about how do we educate, if our community members are going to spread that to other people who don't know about that, it might be a different platform that ends up adopting that because somebody else said, hey, can you try this? Do you want to see if this works on your platform? Blue Sky, Threads, Facebook. If we're not getting, if those ideas aren't getting adopted here, where else can we turn? Where they can then look at it and be like, you know what, that's a great idea. Let me see what we can do. But I think we do kind of need, the documentation, the APIs, the RPCs, all the things that tell people how to use the tech, and, here's the final thing that I'll say. X is constantly advertising that they're hiring exceptional engineers. X is always they're constantly advertising that they do grok-a-thons. Not too long ago, and for all of us that spend a lot of time here on X, we've probably seen where, you hit the like button and there's a little rocket or a little grok or a little, and that was the product of a grok-a-thon. And so what I think is that we need to have people enter these grok-a-thons and then share those, build those things and share like a sandbox type, prototype. Like, hey, you could do this, whether it's like, the grok assets, XNFTs, whether it's the gated assets, to raise the bar, for like bots. Like, if you look into, if you just start to ask grok, hey, like, what are the issues with these low end bot farms? And man, it takes pennies to create a bot and these low end bot farms. But when you raise the price, say if everybody had to purchase an asset just to be a basic user, and if you bought a certain asset to be like a premium or premium plus or whatever, that would raise the entry for those people who are creating bots for almost nothing. That would solve a problem for X and create revenue. And for Digibyte, it would just be adoption and implementation, So, but we need to have people that go into these, like grok-a-thons and like, build things that, that people want to use, that, oh man, that is a useful solution, and I'll leave it there. I think, we have some, smart people. Renzo was in here earlier and he left. Hopefully he listens to this later. I always bug Renzo. I send him messages like, hey, they're hiring. I messaged, what's his name? Uh, Chopper Brian yesterday. And I was basically sharing them some of the conversations I was having with AI. It's AI, but like these are like, like hopefully like to help paint a better picture. I sent, same thing with, our friend, who's building that wallet. I tell him too, like, hey, we need to get people in here on X and some of these events and get, people familiarized with the tech, with some of our developers, or teach this tech to other developers that don't know about it. And I'll leave it there.
Has Digibyte became ISO 2022 compliant yet? That would also be a huge one and an easier lift, because there's only like 10 blockchains that are compliant. So that would immediately put it in a very short list for those looking to institute it in larger levels.
And when you say that, that's more for the payment aspect of it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Which is really just the message. It's how the message is formulated. And I love your idea too. Like, if you nail down the API stuff, then you get people to create libraries that are easy to implement that are components. So they just call the component and everything's there in the code already. They don't have to learn how to write anything. They just plug the component in. And that would be like, that makes it infinitely easier, I think.
I went down my deep rabbit hole with this and did some research and asked some questions. And one of the things that I found out, and I found it out from Renzo, is that like if you think about inscriptions, things that are directly embedded onto the blockchain like that, you can't remove that. But when you use op return, the person who's running the client can delist that asset. If it's illegal content, they can delist it. And so that would solve a problem. Like if people, like, not too long ago, X got, hit hard because, they came out with Grok and I don't think they had the proper, I want to call it like, these like buffers so that people don't do these things. I think they felt that. And so people took advantage of it and they got in trouble and I think they're still going through a lawsuit. But that's one thing that people don't know. It's like, oh wow, if you use this protocol and somebody creates something that's against policies or criminal, like it can be, delisted and it'll just show data not available. The other thing was, talking about, yeah, I kind of drawing a blank here, but if it comes back to me, I'm gonna come on
Well,
share it
the
again.
inscriptions right on Bitcoin, the new proposed update for validators is actually to ignore that altogether. It's a
Oh yeah.
non-readable.
So, and this, becomes a debate whether you're for removing. So
Sure,
they
yeah.
removed
I don't have a
the data
personal
limits.
preference. It's just is what it is. That's what
Yeah.
they're doing.
And but here's where I think the developers were, if people can already bypass that and tweak keys and do all this other stuff that actually harms the blockchain, I think by removing, and I think they could have probably done it different. Maybe put a limit, maybe raise the data limit, but not completely, take it away. And this kind of goes back to the thing that I forgot to mention that then it just came back to me. Um, through my conversations, I asked, well, could Doge, because, Elon loves Doge. That's that's his chain. That's no denying that. There's no, arguing that. And I asked, could it do the same things with like, Digi assets and, Digi ID? And what it comes down to is they don't have these protocols. The community doesn't. And Dogecoin is a lot like Bitcoin, that they don't want to add things to it because it adds complexity. And then it's like, oh, like, we just want to keep it simple. We want to, keep it like this. And right now it's like, damn, but Digibyte's already solved that, you know? And so anyways, I think that, Dogecoin will, cause DigiID and DigiAsset, DigiAsset Core, they can fork it and create their own version, but I don't think that's something they're going to do. And, anyways, I wanted to add that in there on top of the other thing that I was saying about being able to, like, I guess, flag an asset and remove it from circulation so that there isn't like, so these are all like good things that I think, sell this idea. Like if people didn't know, like hopefully people start to look into it or ask, like, hey, how does that work? And man, I think that these are great solutions, and I'm sure tech evolves and things eventually. Whoa, there's a hummingbird right there.
That's cool.
Things evolve and they improve. It came up to like my face and it flew off.
Dude, hummingbirds are cool as
Um,
shit. By the way,
yeah.
the ID, the Digi ID, is the first thing that jumped out at me as maybe a focal product. It could be way more than what it is, and solves a lot of the problems. Um, so JP Morgan JP Morgan Chase has their own uh, blockchain layer 2 on base, and processes $5 billion in transactions through it today, right now. They're actively using it. And they were just purchased, they just purchased Apple's wallet because it has ID storage for, obviously documents, ID, other tickets, etc. And they did it to directly consume 86 million users, right? Like right off the rip. But the reason that they're looking at that is solely based around what Digibyte ID, like DigiID, offers. I think it's something to look into a bit deeper, for anyone interested. But digital ID is here. It's here to stay. It's going to get more robust and more embedded into our lives. And I think DigiID is more than most of these already from a security level alone. Is more than most of these. I would recommend anyone to dive a bit deeper into just that alone. I was like the first thing that jumped out at me of like, if you were going to niche down on something, what would it be? Well, like all blockchains move currency, right? And, no blockchains that I'm aware of have been hacked. People have been hacked. So that tells me that they're all secure to whatever extent. Now that doesn't back out that validators can collude and reject transactions, etc. But I think that that ID alone is leaps and bounds ahead of what any other blockchain has done at all. Like, period. They just give you your wallet, right? They give you your public key and your private key, and that's it. Right? Have fun. Good luck. Here you go. Here's the casino. Welcome aboard. Have a great day.
Modest Miner, have you had the chance to see the DigiID DigiAsset login? The one that I was talking about with the comic book.
No, honestly, I haven't.
I,
I just know, I remember when it was being developed, because I've been around here for a while too. And, it's just an area that people haven't focused on like nearly as much. So
yeah.
I think it's something to look at for real.
I think if you look into it, if you like DigiID now, I think you'll love this idea. It adds another layer of security. So you think of like these tiered platforms that
Hmm.
give certain access to certain, things on the platform. If you own so this is not something that's been created like the tiered. That's kind of like the idea that I've had, but
Hmm.
the gated asset. Like if you have DigiID and you went on to log in to the websites. Now here's the kind of the problem. It's like that comic book was retired. It was sunset. And so the website's no longer there. So you can't really test it. You really
Right.
can't see it. But before so it was Securus Wallet, which implemented this combination where if you had the comic book in your wallet, you could use DigiID from that wallet to log into that website to view the
Hmm.
content. But if you didn't have that asset and it was just DigiID, it wouldn't allow you to come in. And so
Right.
I think that adds another like layer of like security. Like
Sure, it's like two factor in a way, just by like through proxy ownership of like said asset, which is a lot of NFTs are treated that way of like if you don't have this asset residing in your wallet, then you can't do it. But I think the way that DigiID approached the entire problem is much more robust. And that's the part that I would focus on as a like a niche thing. If I was going to sell it, like if I was going to sit down with the presidents at that bank again and sell something, trust me, they care about security more than anything on the planet. So, that would be the direction that I would take it
What
personally.
about DigiDollars, guys? What about those? Key, have you delved into the Digibyte, Digidollar research or anything like that? You know about it?
I haven't.
Haven't. Okay.
It's been, I don't know, 6 years, 7 years,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
that I've been around Digibyte. I actually started mining Digibyte. I had a mining company first before I focused on software, and that was something I mined. And then I actually met Master at that time. Like, dude, I swear it's been almost 4 or 5 years that I've actually known you, which is insane. Um, but yeah, no, if anyone cares to talk about it or explain, I don't know if that's too off the rails or anything of what we're talking about, but I'd be happy to learn.
No, it's definitely right along. It's on the rails. I won't say too much. I'm surprised I'm even allowed to say this much. I will be fucking ecstatic though if someone can explain Digidollar to him, point him in the direction. You know?
So, Jose, question for you: is DigiDollar a digi asset?
No.
No.
Okay, just wondering how that. So, it's a whole
Fuck,
new
man. I
protocol
gotta do
on
it.
top of
I'll
the
explain it. Fuck it. All right. Damn, if they get me, they get me. So Digidollar is the world's first decentralized stable coin. Stable time lock is what we'll call it on a UTXO blockchain. With Digidollar being the collateral layer. So to mint Digidollars, you need to do it on the core wallet, obviously, because it all happens at the protocol level. Everything's done through protocol. Um, so I'll give you an example. If someone wants to drop the link to digibyte.io too, there's a lot more factual information there. But there's no permission needed, no middleman needed, no interest, no margin calls, no liquidations. You can freely and anytime you want go mint digidollars, which means put up your digibyte as over or collateral, but you do it in an over collateralized fashion. So all the digidollars that are minted from the native asset Digibyte. So there's a proof of reserve that is actually on the blockchain for, everyone's seen USDT, USDC, all of these stable coins, the stablecoin fiascos along the years and, even now recently. With that, there's like security layers. Like I don't want to go too deep in it actually, because they're gonna, yeah, but yeah, man, like I would advise anyone and everyone to check that out because we are actually closing in on RC30, which is the release candidate 30 on, I think, what is it? 17 oracles. We're going to hard code 17 oracles into this release candidate. At the moment, right now, there's really no bugs that we have found since I think RC28, which was about
Hmm.
like a week or two ago. But everything's looking pretty good, I would say, for Digidollar. Crazy timing, but yeah, everything's looking pretty
That's
good.
that's pretty awesome, actually, because yes, you're right. Stablecoins have a huge issue. Um, It's amazing how fast they depeg when only 2% of the money had been fluctuating in at once. Imagine when 80% of fiat fluctuates into, you're going to be able to make more money off of a stable coin, arbitraging a stable coin than you would any other asset on chain, which is hilarious, to me. So yes, that is a massive problem. I am definitely going to look into that. Um, because that is something that I should be exploring for services around these institutions.
Yeah, no, it's something the world should be looking at as the opt out option, to be honest. And we could use Iran for the perfect example. They're charging what a dollar per barrel. Most of these ships are carrying 2 million barrels, 6 million barrels to
Yeah.
come through the strait, and they were doing it in Bitcoin. Imagine the block times that they were taking. I would just guesstimate around like 23 to 36 minutes, 40 minutes on blocks just to wait to confirm to have your payment go through so your ship doesn't get bombed.
It would take
Digibyte,
forever.
15-second blocks. You know what I'm saying? That we'll have, see, the thing is, we'll have oracles. Oracles are price aggregators, as you would say. We aggregate
Yeah.
price from exchanges, all the major exchanges, Binance, Bybit, or not
But
Bybit,
like
Binance,
they're
Qcoin.
balancers, right?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, in a perfect world, in a perfect decentralized ethos with the oracles, anyone should be able to be an oracle. But for right now, for the I guess release, we're doing 15 oracle consensus. Yes, it might seem a little centralized, but it's to make sure that when the launch happens, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's people there that are actually diehards for this community that don't want to go around and collude and go offline or anything like this and that. So even when we do release this, guys, it's gonna be a test. That first mint, everyone, there's gonna be a lock day. Don't forget. Everyone's gonna mint at 30. You know what I'm saying? Or whoever wants to. I know I will. I got a mint at 10 off the rip, so I'll let y'all know that there's gonna be 5,011 DGB immediately straight to a tenner. So showing love for that. Yeah, guys, but so it's gonna be a test. The world's gonna be watching. They're gonna be studying. We got to show them, and we got to make that statement that this thing is going to work, and it's going to work as intended. And anyone in the world can go do this and mint your own DigiDollars at any time. You don't need central authority or permission to go and do that. That's the beautiful part about it. And then also the Taproot. So there's another thing. There's privacy features, as you would call it, for Taproot. So basically, when DigiDollars get sent on chain or received on chain, they don't show up as how much you sent. So let's say you sent 1 million DigiDollars, they'll show up as 0.000, 8 zeros is the decimal system for Digibyte on chain. So if you were to think about this on a payroll type of infrastructure play, think about how everyone's information is already leaked and how much money they make and how much they get paid every week, month, year, whatever it might be. Well, with DigiDollars, we just, we solved that little problem right there. And anyone can implement this on their payroll if they want. It's a permissionless system, but you don't need permission to use it. And it just comes down to, do I want to use this? Or does my company need this? Is this best for my, yeah, I'm ecstatic, guys. It's been a minute since you probably heard my voice, but how's everybody doing?
We're doing good, Truth. Truth, I'm ecstatic about the DigiDollar too. The tax benefits down to being able to keep your Digibyte. That's one thing that I fell in love with the protocol, the idea that you will never lose or relinquish control of your Digibyte. I think that's powerful because a lot of times our community, we've been through hell as far as the market. And sometimes you got to spend. And when you talk about spending, do you want to really lose control of your Digibyte? I just think the whole Digibyte or DigiDollar protocol, it's like whoever came up with it was just makes sense. And I understand that it's an over collateralized dollar. So it takes more to get, but that's how loans are. You pay interest. You pay interest. And the good thing is, even though you're over collateralizing your dollar, you still get all of that back once you return the initial investment. I mean, the initial dollars that you got. So the good thing is you can lock for 30 days. You can lock for a year. You can lock for 10 years. And the longer you lock, the less you have to bring up in collateral.
Yep, that's exactly. Well, yeah, I can give the in-depth description of how the collateralization works. So there's a collateralization scale of an over-collateralized rate from 30 days all the way up to a 10-year. The 30 days is 500%. So let's say in an imaginary world, Digibyte's spot price was $1 exactly, and you have 500 Digibyte, but you need $100 at the moment. You can then go, in your Digibyte core wallet, hit the DigiDollar tab, mint 100 DigiDollars, but you have to over collateralize it at 500%, which means you have to put all 500 Digibyte up. But it's 30 days. Let's say the price increases 3x. You still only need to redeem and burn that one initial 100 DigiDollars. So the price could go up 10x, 1000x. It doesn't even matter. There's also security measures if the price goes down. I would say go look into those, but it's measured on a network health like score, not score. Well, network health ratio.
Right?
So
'Cause won't they pause minting if it gets too crazy, right?
yeah, at 100 or lower, 100% or lower on the network health score or rate. So yeah, but 150 to what is it, 120? I'm not looking at it exactly. I haven't looked at it in a minute. But yeah, 150 to 120, it's plus 20% collateral, plus 50 or one 119 to 100 is plus 50, and then anything under 100, no new mints are allowed. The network has to regain its health back. If you want to redeem, it will cost you, I think, what, 20% collateral, or no, 100% more collateral. So it costs you double, I think. I gotta fact check that. So yeah, but in general, wow, I just lost train of thought. The 4-layer security and all of this, it's all for the benefit of the network health. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about a bank run. If people are all just to go at once and be like, all right, let me just redeem and get my money back, that's going to drag the collateralized ratio from the Digibyte to the Digidollar down, and there won't be enough Digibyte that are backing the Digidollars, if everybody can follow along. So it's there to incentivize people just to weather the storm, whether it takes a couple hours, a day, or 2 days, a week, a month, or however long it takes, a year, 10 years, who knows. But it's there to incentivize people to wait, to hold out, weather out, but yeah, there's no liquidations. It's not like you're going to get liquidated if the price goes down 53% to 90%. There's no margin calls, none of that. And it's not like you're paying interest if anything goes down, or if you let the lock from 1 year roll over 1 year in one day. You could literally, you don't have, like, let's say you lock for a year and that's 300%. So that means you need 3x, so if you got 300 Digibyte's price is $1, you need to lock up that to get that 100. Yeah, so it's not like, what was that? Oh yeah, yeah. Wow, man, wow, I just lost my train of thought again. Oh yeah,
But I'm not the only one that happens to.
yeah. No, it's been a busy, busy, busy week. I feel like been a busy week, but yeah, man, like you can let it roll over for a year, year and a day, year and a month, year, whatever you want to. It's everything is your choice. You can choose what you want to do. And that's the beauty of it. And like, Key, you were saying you came from Stellar,
It's one of many
one of
blockchains that
any.
I've worked on. Yeah.
Okay, all right. You seem well versed, but yeah, no, like I know about Stellar mighty well as well. But yeah, no, like yeah, we won't even get into that. We won't
Yeah.
even get into that.
I just see it as every blockchain focused on doing something really well. Not all of them fix every single problem. And not every single problem needs blockchain either. Blockchain is a ledger, as debits and credits.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah.
Hey,
Like,
Hawkeye, dude,
Make a note
Hawkeye,
that now
go
Jennifer.
join the Getter. My bad, I gotta say this, Hawkeye. Join the Getter because we are actually waiting on you. Just gonna go ahead and say that we're waiting on you, and if you don't join, we got to use DigiSwarm. But DigiSwarm's hard coded in, right? So if you do show up in the Getter for the Oracle position of Oracle slot 17, um, Jared will give you the keys to DigiSwarm's wallet, so that that Oracle wallet and that Oracle slot will become yours. But we're literally just waiting on you to see if you want to, or not see if if you're going to load up that Oracle wallet now, so we can roll out RC30. Um, Last I checked, the Getter was about like an hour ago, and Jared said he was already building the release. So I would just say, join the Getter. We'll probably wait and just go ahead and create it with DigiSwarm, and he'll just hand you the keys, and you can just load the wallet. But yeah, like guys, RC30 is closing in. Just want to say that.
I just wanted to make a note to everybody in the audience that in Digibyte's Genesis block, which is the first block in the blockchain, traditionally there's a headline put in the Genesis block. And in the Genesis block of Digibyte, the hash headline was target data stolen 110 million people. If you look up that article now, the number is much lesser now, but or much less. But what that quote is supposed to create is the ethos or the environment around which your blockchain stands for. And Digibyte was created as a cybersecurity existence to solve the cyber insecurity in the world. In fact, Jared Tate quotes and says that he believes that a large percentage of the insecurity on the internet can be resolved by DigiID. So Key or Modest Miner, DigiID, I agree with you, is a pioneering technology. And the great thing about it, it costs nothing to use. You need no coins in your wallet to use DigiID. So that's a beautiful thing.
Okay, the space is still going on. Like, you guys, like, I learned a lot today, but I posted this page so I can talk, but now I learned a lot, to be honest. I did a little bit research about DigiDollar, but from now I can't explain it more to somebody because I haven't understand it very well. So I'm still digging research about it and trying to understand very well. So, but I know that it's more better than other stable coins, to be honest. So right now, if you have any question or on the topic we are doing about this about what's holding Digibyte back from real world use, you can request for my account. But there's a day I went to TikTok, I searched, I was thinking more about Digibyte. I went to TikTok and I searched Digibyte. Then I didn't saw even like a lot of 10 posts there about Digibyte. Like nobody's talking about Digibyte on the TikTok. TikTok is one of the most, I don't even know how to say this thing. Like it's more of rapid, like social media right now. Like it has a lot of people. You can even make any nonsense and people will see it. So I went there, but I saw a video of a young lady, a young girl. She was talking about Digibyte, like telling a story about Digibyte there. But the year that she posted that was like 2023 or 2022. Then now she will be like about 20 or something. So, but that was the last video that she posted. I didn't know why. Like I tried to comment to know that she's still doing, but she didn't reply because the account is very old. Like that was the last. I think it's the first and the last video that she posted. So I'm thinking about maybe even when they're building a small tool, like let me just say I came down and did a transaction with Digibyte, made a video about it and said like this is how Digibyte or you can do transaction and within 1 sec or 3 sec you have the person receive with no fee because it's literally no fee, to be honest. So let me say something like people in Nigeria will love it, like even people in Africa and other countries will love it because but the issue is that not a lot of people know about Digibyte. That's the issue, that there are people that are going to adopt it once they know it, but they didn't know about marketing. Marketing is all about then somebody will not come in with terms of hype or trading. That's not about marketing. This is about something that you can showcase what the real use case. Like crypto is not then that you can be sending through phone. It's not what you can use in real life. Imagine I want to go and buy something, I bought it with crypto, did you buy it? You understand? But sometimes I think about the government in my country, like doing something like this, they'll go and carry it, but it doesn't make sense sometimes about where I am. But to be honest, like it's something that we need to build something like also digital has a lot of features, to be honest. Like even some features that crypto, some blockchain haven't even think of building, you understand? Like, but why isn't there absorption? That's one of the questions that keep to me, like why isn't there absorption? Look at Bitcoin, like imagine we hit Bitcoin now will be more than like no, I'm not here for multi-millionaire, I'm here for the adoption, to be honest. Like look at us, like let's see something cool, to be honest.
I feel you on, and I only have about 12 minutes left that I can stay on. But I just wanted to say that don't lose the faith, guys. The developers around Digibyte are working endlessly to keep us forward thinking. And I've been in this space for almost 8 years and over 8 years now. And I'm telling you, I looked at other projects and none of them are offering what Digibyte offers. You know, security, high security, speed, low transactions, and on top of that, DigiID, and DigiDollar. So it's really a pioneering technology and it's before its time. So be patient. Don't give up. I know how hard it is to believe in something and it just not flourish like you want. I've been in this space again for over 8 years and I witnessed Digibyte skyrocket in price and crash. So just be cognizant that this is a marketplace. And right now we just are not being treated fairly. So one day we'll get vindicated. And I think all of the technology that we have built will prove to be useful to the average person because we're focused on the individual and not anybody else but the individual. And that's why I love Digibyte because it's individually centered and it's focused on making sure you have speed, security, and affordability. And yeah, I just wanted to leave that with you guys before I left.
Is it me or can anybody hear you? Like, can anybody hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
But I'm not hearing you. Like,
You can't hear me?
I heard you.
yeah, I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. So Martyrs Minor, it's really been 5 years?
I don't know. It's been a long time. We've been in these spaces for a long time.
Yeah, we've been around. I mean,
My beard
Con
is gray now.
Lana Garrett, Hawkeye,
Yep.
Jose.
Yep.
We all been together. Renzo, we all been together, truly believing in Digibyte. And I've seen the Digibyte party team around for some years. We just truly love Digibyte, you know, and we just want to see it be successful. And one day we want to get vindicated. And I can't wait for that day to tell my friends and family, told ya. Because they looking at me like, son, where is this thing? What is this thing doing? It ain't doing nothing. So one day we'll get fairly priced. And I think once people see the use, like that DigiID, when I first used DigiID, I was like in awe. I use DigiID to go into Digiscope, which I want to remind you guys that Digiscope.me is a really good tool. So get on there, learn about Digibyte, earn you some free Digibyte. You have DGBWallet.app. That's a new wallet that you can use that's not on your phone, but a web browser, but it still uses a private key. And you have my website, which is dgbtunes.com. It's a website of over 50 Digibyte songs. Whenever you're feeling like you need to be motivated about Digibyte, just go to the website, pop a track on, and jam out. And last but not least, I have a website called digiswagtoken.com, which is the first meme coin on Digibyte. It's a full-out website, social media, it has a meme contest, has the ability to earn Digiswag, and there's a peer-to-peer marketplace on the website where you can exchange your Digiswag for Digibyte. It's not robust at the moment, but one day maybe it will be. And last but not least, if you can support me in my efforts with the Digibyte Africa Awareness Initiative, we meet every Saturday at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to discuss Digibyte, and we have a quote of the day, a hype session, a blockchain minute where someone explains blockchain technology and its fundamentals. And then I do a lesson for about 35 minutes. And so you can come through, support us on Saturday. And we also Yeah, they're also the creators of the DigiSwag meme coin. So supporting that project supports DA. So please help me. It's been very expensive maintaining all of that. I built a community of over 1,000 people in Nigeria who know about Digibyte. And yeah, so if you guys can support, even the smallest effort, I think they're gonna build fast. And in Nigeria, I think the key to helping people is just educating them and educating people who can educate them. And that's what I've been doing. I've been building mentors, training them vigorously. Each mentor goes through a month-long training. And basically what they do is they learn interpersonal skills so that they can mentor. I make sure that they know everything they need to know about Digibyte. And then I give them a leadership cohort where they learn how to be charismatic and servant leaders so that they can help bridge the gap between blockchain and the individual. So I want to thank you guys for coming through and just thank you guys for supporting me all these years and believing in what I believe in, which is Digibyte. I want to thank everybody that's in this community because I know how hard it is to be committed to something. And we've been committed for years and we're not going anywhere. We're not stopping. No one's going to stop us. No FUD, no negative comments. It's not going to stop us. We're going to keep moving forward. And we're going to see innovations like DigiDollar come out. Just imagine the innovations that can come out. You heard Jose talk about possibly working with Twitter. Like, that's a wonderful idea. If that got into the right social media hands where you can mint NFTs straight from the AI and then own royalties from it, I mean, it's a long stretch, but it just lets us know that Digibyte is ready to be bridged into the world. Because with that gated asset that he said is powerful, because you can hold assets in your wallet that will allow you to unlock websites, doors, turn on appliances, the Internet of Things. Digibyte is focused on that. So just be aware that we're not just some community sitting back saying, hey, let the price go up. We're building something that's going to stand the test of time and really create innovation in everyday lives of individuals.
Thank you for joining the space as well. Like, thank you so much. Anyone
No
want?
problem. So I want to thank Modest Miner and The Truth for coming through and speaking, and Jose. And, we're going to do this again one day, Atlas. And I encourage all of you to come up, speak your mind, learn about all these different opportunities within the Digibyte ecosystem. If you get on Twitter, there's always someone dumbing it down, which is good, right? Breaking it down to the average person's understanding. And that's why I love Twitter, because when you click on those tweets, somebody is telling you about Digibyte. Just use the hashtag Digibyte, search it, and that's how you stay connected with the community.
Thanks for having me, dude. I both to the host and master. Thank you for having me, and it's been fun. It was nice to catch up, and I hope everything is going well for you and your family. And yeah, I appreciate it. Wish everyone the best of luck too out there. Stay safe.
Thank you. The Truth, you got something to say before we close out?
Thank you guys a lot. Like, it's already. I didn't. To be honest, I didn't believe that this space will be like more than 30 hours, but it's almost 2 hours right now. It's almost 2 hours. because started by 7. It's almost 9 o'clock. So thank you guys a lot. Maybe in some time we can host the space again. To be honest, I was surprised. Like I didn't believe that up to 5 people would join the space, but how Digibyte people supported me, like came up and talked, understand, like even made me learn a lot of things today. Cause to be honest, like I'm very surprised, Cause sometimes when I go to X to try to comment, I didn't see a lot of Digibyte people there to comment on or connect with. So since we are together, it's been pretty awesome that we connected together, like make posts, each other, see ourselves under that. And I've been going on X, like mostly I'm spending most of my time on X, you understand? So I try to comment more about Digibyte and all of us, we should keep going, you understand? Not just about the app, but about what we are building. We are building something great here, you understand? It's not about. I saw a post one day that somebody asked, Digibyte is being called. Then somebody said that we are building something. The person say that we have been building for how many years, you understand? But that doesn't make sense to me because it doesn't matter what they say. Like, thanks what Master of Leadership told me here, and I said that it doesn't matter what they say, I should keep building. Thanks a lot, every guys. I think I don't know what should we do, or should we wait till 9 o'clock before we call this place, or should we call it right now? You know,
You
I
can call it now. But Atlas, I wanna encourage you to be more active in the community. Don't worry about what people say. If you love Digibyte, just keep promoting it. Keep putting yourself out there. Because there's something called community equity, right? Community equity. And community equity is your influence. So work on that. Keep on.
okay. I'm doing my best to be honest. I made like a music for Digibyte, but it wasn't me. I used AI to make the music, but it was on my phone, like on my current phone. This one I'm using right now, so like, and I can't leave the space to play the music for you guys. That's the issue here. So maybe next time when I have about 2 phones, I can try it. But right now I'm using the current phone, so I can't go to the app and play the music. You guys
Use your
can.
mouth.
It's about
Sing it.
So what we'll do is I'll close out with a Digibyte
I'm
track from
not, I'm not the one that sang the song. I'm not the one that sang it. Well, it all I made it up. Like I wrote some blah blah blah, then gave it to AI and give me a good relax. Then I moved to somewhere. From there we made the song. So it's already 9:00. To be honest, 21:00. So thank you guys so much. Like, you gotta do this thing sometimes because I'm really grateful and happy, to be honest. Like, I really love Digibyte. I didn't even know you guys can come in because I think a lot of people are calling me bots AI. Say that you are coming. But thanks a lot. See you next time.
all
Have a good day. A great day. It's
right.
already night.
Everybody, thanks again, and I'll see you around. Don't forget to check out my website, dgbtunes.com, if you ever need to hear a track that'll keep you motivated. All right?
Sure.
All right. Bye.